Here we go. Good morning, guys. So I wanted to make this short clip today because there's so many things on my mind this morning. I woke up drinking my coffee, listening to the news. They were explaining inflation and how it goes up. What is inflation? Shout out to the news, which I think is Fox News. Shout out to you for explaining inflation and how it goes up. Now, here's one thing I don't agree with. They're saying that inflation happened to us because of the pandemic. It might have happened because of the pandemic because they gave out all that money, but truth be told, it wasn't just a pandemic. We do have a war going on right now, so don't forget about that. Um, there were a lot of other things that happened as well besides the money that was given out. So don't forget about that. And inflation is real, guys. Inflation really does happen. I'm guessing that's why the Fox News decided to explain or give you a definition to inflation. And I paused because they're still talking about inflation. And they're saying that the fact that we were not spending money during the pandemic is what caused the inflation. Anyway, my actual thing that I wanted to talk to you about today, and I hope that some people actually get to watch this because it does matter. There were two things on my mind that I woke up with today, and one of them was just a little personal, but the other one was on the Oklahoman, the newspaper yesterday. So this is the newspaper. And if you take a read on there, it says Shrine's design is a nod to Hispanic community. I read this article in hopes of understanding why they would decide to do this. And in this article, they started off talking about a mound of dust or a mound of dirt that they put over off of Shields and Southeast 89th Street. Now, they did this on purpose. They created a mountain or a hill, a man made mountain or a hill, so that they're able to build a what is called a shrine, or I guess in their mind a church. They go on to talk about the uh, the churches in Mexico, and one of the churches in particular that is called Our Sacred Heart. I personally grew up in that church. I was baptized. I was I did my first communion. I think some of my family members even got married in that church. They did their first communion, stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera. And they're talking about that stuff. They're talking about how our culture is big on that. You know, we're so big on religion. And they also talk about the artwork, and then they talk about the reason why they chose to do this. Which their reasoning is because Oklahoma City is growing in Hispanic communities, South Oklahoma City. That was the reason for the location. That was the reason for them to say, yes, we'll go ahead and do it. Their numbers were really high in some churches, one of them being the Little Flower, which I've been to before. And yes, we needed this 15 years ago. 15 years ago, when I first went to that church, there was no seats, none. It was so full, people had to park around in the area of the church to walk to the church, to stand by the church to listen to mass. Now, Little Flower was this way, and it got so big that they put speakers outside of the church so that the people can come and sit outside and listen to mass. Okay. Now, the only reason why I'm talking about that right now is because it takes me into that newspaper. They're doing it now. They're doing it in a time where I feel like our people, we're holding on strong to our beliefs and our religion. And I feel like it's kind of like bittersweet that they're doing it. It's awesome that they're putting a church there and that it's designed to be sort of like a mecca for all of the Catholic communities and all of the Hispanic communities, because they're not only talking about Catholic communities, they're talking about all Hispanic communities. Even, I mean, you're talking about Honduras, you're talking about Chiapas, you're talking about Mexico City. So it's three, four, five, six, I don't know how many, but a lot of different communities, because Mexico is different from Chiapas and Honduras and Salvador. We're all different. We're all Latin Americans, but we are all different. So kudos to Oklahoma for trying to put something there for all of these communities to come together and be able to practice religion. I appreciate that myself, but I'm afraid. And that's why I decided to do this thing this morning, because I am proud and I am happy, and it makes me like, wow, it's that's great. But at the same time, I am one of those people that I've been stuck in the system for so long. I mean, I've had a case going on for longer than 10 years. It's going on 12 years now. Um, it's crazy. I know people that have gotten deported. I know people that their families got broken up because of the laws and the way the situation is. And I mean, again, it's great that you want to build something in Oklahoma City, but why don't we change the laws to give people opportunities to fix their things, especially when they're already in the United States for years and years and years to come, and they're doing everything that you ask them to do? This has been an ongoing fight for our Hispanic community. We have been trying to figure out a way to give our people the chance to apply for naturalization and do it the legal way and do it the right way, without it taking 20, 30 years. I mean, I understand that we're full of people, we're overpopulated, the border slammed. I mean, all of these things are going on. I get it. But instead of spending that much money on a structure where people are going to go to pray, which I fully appreciate it, but can we spend that money on fixing the laws? Can we spend that money on fixing, what's wrong with being able to go to court and become a US citizen the right way and not taking so long? Because when we start off as teenagers or young adults and we become full grown adults and we don't have the opportunity or even the right tools to access that right, or what are we supposed to do? I mean, we'll all show up to church. We will all go because we still believe in our religion and we still believe in what we were taught, especially if you are traditional. Traditional people will always keep that tradition even if they don't believe in the religion 100%. And I know that sounds crazy. That sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Traditional people will always keep the tradition. So I don't understand how we're spending so much money. That and I know I didn't say the number of money, the amount of money that's being spent on that, but it's in the millions, guys, in the millions. So like you got that much money. I think it was like 40 million or something like that. So put it back into the community with the people and try to fix the laws and give us an opportunity to, come the correct way without having to be here years and years and years and be in fear. I know it's hard. It's a challenge. That is the reason why I decided to do a segment on Maria Salazar, which is the district leader of District 29, I believe it was. Kind of vaguely remember it now because I had to have my notes in front of me, but that's why I brought her up, because it's, there's people in office, and I know it's not our state, our system completely, because we're in different states, but the government is the government. We should be able to put money back into that and adjust the time of waiting for us. It becomes harder and harder as you become older and older. It's way easier for a child to get brought in and get naturalized than it is for an adult, and especially a mature adult, a grown adult, an older adult. Like, say, for example, you're talking about your grandmother. It's not that easy. She'd have to be like disabled and all kinds of stuff going on with her for the US government to say, okay, she gets a pass. We're going to go ahead and do that. Or, like, they don't even speed it up. She could die before she even comes into the United States the correct way, because they won't take her age into consideration. They won't look at that and be like, oh, she's 90 and she's trying to come here for the last year. Like, no, 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 no. And I know why, because you can't just take certain people and be like, well, these people should be allowed to come in. And, you can't, but you should be able to look at the situation, see how long they've been waiting, and at least help the amount of time that it takes. It took a long time just to do one amnesty in the 90s. And then we had to reform immigration again. And honestly, I can't remember from the 90s when the next reform happened. And then in between there until now, I'm trying to think of what else did we do. And I can't even think about it off the top of my head. But the important thing here, guys, is that we're getting a church on Southeast 89th Street and Shields. And it's a great thing for everyone that has nothing to worry about. And I know that my undocumented people are still probably going to show up to the church. That's the part that I worry about, because now, everyone pretty much knows, since it's in the newspaper, and that church is going to be right dead smack in the middle, and it's on a hill and you can see, and it's going to be like an attraction for tourism. Okay, because most people want to see and they want to experience what it's like to be in a cathedral, in a pretty beautiful church like that, with all the pictures and all the history. We got a lot of history and we hold on to our history. The article was talking about Juan Diego and La Virgen de Guadalupe and what we do and how we leave flowers for them, and roses. And yes, we hold on to our history. That's something that happened, and we don't need concrete evidence to be like, oh yeah, this is the concrete evidence to believe Juan Diego. No, we believe it and we pass it on and we teach it to our kids. And I believe that that's the attraction that people have to our culture. Other people that are not from the Hispanic cultures, they like these things. They like the stories. They like the tradition. They like the colors. They like the way we live. But they have to understand that it's coming from, the Aztec people, the Spanish colonial people, it comes from history, is what I'm trying to say. It's not just something that we made up and we're passing along, as the generations are coming up. No, we picked up things over time, like, and we've been carrying it on for years. And I believe that's what attracts people to our stuff. It's not the religion, it's not the church, it's not, what we actually believe in. It's just what we do, our actions and how we do things. And I mean, come on now, for them to be able to understand that we are in need of a church that can hold more than what we already have. Obviously, that our people can get united and come together and believe in something. My accent is coming out. But it's a great thing to have a place to go worship. I agree with that. It's just a scary thing to know that it would be like a tourism place, and it would be a place that people know that there's Hispanic people there, and you can potentially find some undocumented Hispanic people there. Sort of like a trap, some kind of way. But outside of that, I am so grateful, and I wanted people to really know that this is really happening. If you drive down to Southeast 89th Street in Shields, you will see the mound of dirt that people are complaining about or asking about or talking about. And hopefully within the next 5 years, they'll have this cathedral built, this church, and it will be our Sacred Heart. And like I said, I grew up in this church, so I am excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope we can change our immigration laws a little bit here and make it easier for us to come legally instead of illegally. And also, if you do get to watch this, I want you to keep in mind, most of the people that are coming here for refugees. They're coming here for asylum, even if we're not at war. Mexico does not need to be at war for us to seek asylum. We've been living this for so long. Like, there's horror stories out there that if you're an American and you drive down to Mexico in a nice car, you either got to know somebody or you're not coming back in your own car. These things are true. People stop you, they rob you. If they know that you're American, they will do that because of what is going on between the United States and Mexico. We've been here a long time. We also need asylum sometimes, and it's hard to get that. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think that you cannot give us asylum or help or refugee, anything, give us anything to relieve us from the life we've been living for the last 30, 40, 50 years. Economically, we didn't have an economy system in place that actually worked for us. I think now we are getting better. There was also a period of time in the 90s where we had to rise up and stop everything that was going on, and we had to speak for ourselves, and we had to change some things. So Mexico has gone through some changes, definitely, and it's gotten bigger, definitely. And now we have a better economy system, yes. But the immigration laws in place for Hispanic communities or Hispanic people, I feel like should change. You're going to bring in this huge $40 million church. Please help us stay in the church and stay here in the United States. Work on that for us because that's really where we need the help. Our belief, our religion, our practices, our traditions, they're not suffering from this. We're suffering from not being able to stay with our families and not being able to stay in the country that we came to for the help because we couldn't survive in Mexico. It's a real thing, guys, and it doesn't change. I'm 40 years old. Um, it's still a real thing. It's still a real thing. So this morning, that's what was on my mind. And, like I said, it's in the Oklahoman. You can read it. It's something interesting to read, although it doesn't explain everything, but it will explain why there's a need for that. Yeah. So the other thing, moving on to another topic, just real quickly, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the turnpike. That has been a huge topic of discussion. The turnpike. And now I had this conversation with this lady yesterday about the turnpike. I feel like it's unnecessary and noble. She felt as if it would only affect, or really, it would only benefit people that don't live in Noble. And she made a lot of sense because if you live in Noble, why would you take the turnpike? Where are you going to go? Yeah. Her thought was that the turnpike was for truckers. And so they're trying to decongest I-35 by building the turnpike and taking it through Noble. I don't understand how we don't see what we're doing. We're tearing down Oklahoma and its beauty, and then we're building up things that we probably shouldn't. Turnpike through Noble. Me personally, I don't think we need that. We have 77 that goes through Noble. If people don't want to take 77, I just can't see them taking a turnpike. Truckers, yes, maybe, but I can't see that really even happening if they have to go out of their way, and that route is going to go all around Noble, in the back of Noble, and it's going to make them travel extra miles. I just don't see that happening. But that was my quick note for the turnpike. I welcome your thoughts and your opinions on both of these topics. Let me know what you think. Also subscribe, please. I'm still trying to reach my 50 subscribers so I can stream my trip from Oklahoma to Dallas to Compton. And again, guys, the church thing, don't forget, go by there, look at it, tell me what you think. If you're Hispanic, let me know what you think. If you're not Hispanic, let me know what you think. I want to know what's going on in your mind. What's your 2 cents about this? Mine is just that we need to change our immigration laws. We need to help our people and become naturalized quicker, easier. Not, 30 years into their life when they've already, I don't know, almost died, like just why? Why does it take so long? Also, quick note, I forgot to mention this. We're doing this for the Hispanic community, but This state is a red state. I was looking at the elections for the Senate board or something like that, the state Senate. Red, 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 one blue. That makes me nervous. Red, 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 and one blue. So Republican, 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 and one Democrat. And I understand a lot of people right now think Democrats aren't doing shit. We're not taking care of ourselves. We're not doing nothing. Our president's shit. But the more red states you have, the less help for immigration that comes out of that. Now, I'm hoping it's not like that continuously. But again, guys, this is just out there to make you think. I welcome your comments. I welcome your thoughts. Give them to me. Yeah. Mecca type church, our Sacred Heart, in the middle of Oklahoma City, in the middle of the United States, in the middle of the map, okay? Because that's the middle. In the middle of a red state. Is it just me? Or anyways, I welcome your comments, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Have a good day today. I'm trying to do that myself. Allergies are high and my eyes are itchy, and I'm just waking up to the news. So, good morning, guys. Subscribe, like the button, press the like button, whatever people say. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Talk to you later.